Have you ever felt like your past choices have marked your future forever? Jacob's story shows us that with God, there is always a second chance. Stay with me until the end of this video, because your life will be impacted by this incredible journey of faith and transformation. Jacob was born holding the heel of his brother Esau, as if he wanted to take the place that was not his. His name, which means deceiver, already revealed much about his personality. But God had a greater plan for him. Have you ever wondered how God can use someone imperfect? Jacob deceived his brother Esau, trading a bowl of lentils for his birthright. Later, with his mother's help, he tricked his father Isaac to receive the blessing that belonged to Esau. But the consequences came quickly. Would he be able to escape his brother's wrath? During his escape, Jacob had a divine encounter in Bethel. He dreamed of a ladder reaching from earth to heaven, and God renewed the promises made to Abraham and Isaac. Jacob made a vow: if God protected him, he would be his God. Have you ever had an encounter with God that changed your life? Jacob arrived at the house of his uncle Laban, where he worked for many years. There, he met Rachel and fell in love with her. However, Laban deceived him, making him marry Leah, the older sister, first. Jacob worked 14 years to have Rachel as his wife. During this time, he faced many challenges. Laban constantly changed the terms of their agreement, but Jacob persevered. He learned valuable lessons about justice, patience, and the sovereignty of God. God blessed Jacob with many children and wealth. However, he still carried the weight of his past choices. He knew he needed to face his brother Esau, whom he had deceived. On the night before their reunion, Jacob had an extraordinary encounter with an angel. They wrestled until daybreak. Jacob did not give up, even when the angel touched his hip, leaving him limping. Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The angel changed his name from Jacob to Israel, which means one who wrestles with God. This moment marked a profound transformation in his life. He was no longer the same man who deceived others to get what he wanted. Now, he was someone who wrestled with God and sought his blessing. The next day, Jacob met Esau. To his surprise, Esau received him with love and forgiveness. This reunion was a moment of healing and restoration. Jacob realized that God had worked in his brother's heart and that his grace was enough to transform even the most difficult situations. Jacob's life continued with ups and downs. He faced the loss of his beloved Rachel, saw his sons grow up, and dealt with family conflicts. However, he never forgot God's promises. In his final years, Jacob blessed his children and grandchildren, prophesying about the future of each one. He died in Egypt but asked to be buried in the land of his fathers, demonstrating his faith in God's promises for his descendants. Jacob's story teaches us that God can transform anyone. He doesn't choose the perfect, but those who are willing to wrestle, grow, and trust in him. Jacob started as a deceiver but ended as a man who wrestled with God and prevailed. His life is a testimony that God's grace is greater than our mistakes and that he can use us to fulfill his purposes, even when we fail. May Jacob's story inspire you to trust God, even in the hardest moments. Remember, he is the God who transforms lives, who honors faith, and who fulfills his promises. Just as he was faithful in Jacob's life, he will be faithful in yours too.